I went into the military, Air Force out of high school.
Yeah.
Got out of the Air Force, went to Tarleton State University, was finishing out a couple different degrees there. While I was there, I got my paramedics, got my peace officer's license, went to A&M and got my National Fire Academy and FEMA hazmat certs. Okay. Met my wife, got married, was working as a paramedic in different areas, Mineral Wells, Steamville, and a couple of others, while trying to go to school at the same time. So we ended up getting pregnant, and we talked, and it's like, okay, I did aircraft, I did instruments and autopilots on the B-1 bomber when I was in the military. So I decided I can make a lot more money working aircraft. So, especially with a child on the way, and I think our first year's taxes back in, what was that, 92, was $5,000 and something dollars is what we brought in. You know, and we knew there was no way to have a kid and raise it on that. So I went back into aircraft. The first assignment I had was at Marana, Arizona. I worked the 747 that carried the space shuttles and the 37s that were there that went in and out of Area 51. Great assignment. Went from there to Greenville, South Carolina, did some work on the C-9Cs, the presidential fleet, and then worked in the wire shop a little bit. And then I moved back to San Antonio, had another contract in San Antonio, and when I got back here, my wife said, okay, we're in Texas again, I'm staying in San Antonio, you can go. And I've had 100 different job assignments since then. My last one was in Balata Rock. I was DoD contractor, and what I did was basically repair the helicopters, recover them, stuff like that. In '05, I got injured over in Iraq. Laid in bed basically 2 years, about 30 different procedures and surgeries, told I'd never walk again. That pretty much retired me. So as you can see, I'm walking again, doing well. I'm a little hard-headed. You know, my wife will tell you that, so. I know Mike said that he was going to resign after his third term in leadership, and it was coming up. So I assumed that he was going to retire. He hadn't officially announced yet. You know, I made an assumption, and you know how those can go sometimes. This time I ended up being correct, and I thought we needed strong leadership, someone of very high moral character that could get up there and loud enough and has enough voice to let them know that, hey, number one, you're going against the Constitution with most of the stuff they're doing. You know, number two, you know, when something's not right, it's not right. No matter how much you want to, well, I'll give you this, you give me that. We need someone to actually represent the people and the voice of the people. We have so many issues right now. I could spend 3 hours talking about them, unfortunately. One of the biggest ones, we have 456 regulatory agencies right now. They regulate everything you do, and they make laws, and our representatives only oversee these agencies. They do not vote on these regulations or anything else. Trump has did an amazing thing for 2-to-1 on the regulations. Right now, the last time I looked at it, it's at more average, like 46 are getting removed to each one that he's putting in, which is awesome. But just imagine with 456 regulatory agencies putting regulations in every day, okay? And most people can't name over 10, can you? You know, and you know, you got everything from FBI, CIA, these are the easy ones to name, EPA, Department of the Army, DOD, you know, and then you start getting into the ones that are so obscure, Department of Urban and Housing Development and all these other ones that most people don't even think about. We've got to trim that down. We got to get back to what the Constitution said. You know, what was not given to the federal government, as per the 10th Amendment, belongs to the states and to the people. So most of our lawmaking needs to be in the states or locally. Start looking at them and going through one by one. Are they constitutional? I mean, do they belong in the states? And if they do, start making bills up, not going ahead and signing a monstrous funding bill just because we've got to fund the government. You know, it closed down for 60 days. Most people didn't even notice the last time. So, I mean, you can use scare tactics and everything else. It's one of the biggest things I saw in Congress right now, what they do to the American people. The first thing they want to do is bring your emotions out. Okay? They don't want you thinking logically, because if you're thinking logically, you realize how much a load of dung that they're pushing towards you. If they can get you thinking emotion, that stops most critical thinking. And our politicians have gotten real good at doing this to the American people, getting their emotions so high on something that they don't see the issue that they're really going after. Because if they can get your emotions high and then create a negative context, that's all you're thinking about, is that negative context and that emotion. You're not thinking of the true issue behind the bill or behind whatever it is. And we need to get people to realize that and get them over to thinking about that real context. I am not running against anybody. I am running for the people of District 11, to have them have a voice in Congress. That's one of the reasons I've got my slogan, bring me your boots, I'll take your voice. You know, I'll take your voice to Congress. I want to listen to everybody in the district, get a consciousness of the district, and then take that consciousness to vote on, like it's supposed to be done the way the founders framed it in the Constitution. I'm a constitutionalist, I'm a conservative, and I am a pastor.